And so if you occasionally have some alcohol or a quote unquote free meal or cheat meal, I think that even though it can potentially acutely have a negative impact physically, may end up actually having more benefits long term for your quality of life and possibly even your quantity of life when you consider the benefits of having that social time with others. What's up, guys? So today we are going to walk through an ideal day according to many social media experts on how you want to live your best life. So you could imagine that you wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. when the sun rises and you don't have any alarm that day. You get up and you have plenty of time to exercise. But before you get up, you're going to meditate for 20 to 30 minutes, not have any distractions, and just be on your own time. After that meditation, you're going to go to a gym where hopefully there isn't a lot of stress on the drive there, and you're going to do some flexibility and core work for another 30 minutes. Then you are going to warm up properly and you are going to do a weight training workout so that you're building bone density and muscle strength and size, and you're going to do that for 60 to 90 minutes with a number of key exercises. After that, you're going to calm down a little bit, and then you're going to do some zone 2 cardio. You could pick a low impact exercise like a bike or an elliptical. And then again, you're going to calm down. And don't forget, this is all after having done a cold plunge after you finished your meditation in the morning. After you finish your cardio, you're then going to do a sauna for all of those heat shock protein benefits. Then you're going to take a shower and you're going to drive home again with no traffic or stress at all. You're going to get ready for work, but work is only a 4-hour day. And so you have a very productive 4 hours, after which you take a break. Of course, every hour you are getting up and you are stretching and you are walking so that you can get your optimal 10,000 steps per day. After a nice hard 4 hours of working, you're going to go home and you're going to have dinner with your lovely family that has no extra stress at all. You're going to have natural foods cooked by your partner. And then after that, your family is going to clean up the dishes. And then you're going to read and you're going to avoid technology for the last 3 hours before going to bed. You're also not going to eat within 3 hours of going to bed because you want to have optimal digestion. Finally, you're going to spend 10 to 20 minutes journaling in a gratitude journal for everything that you're thankful for before you just lull into sleep for a solid, uninterrupted 9 hours of sleep in your perfectly cooled room, which sits at 66 degrees. Now, if you follow a lot of the wellness people on Instagram and other social media sources, this is what you would think a lot of them do on a daily basis. This is how a lot of them act like you should be living most of your life, by having everything ideal. And there are probably some very rare individuals who can do this. But I wanted to make this video because as somebody who does try to optimize a lot in his life, I see this and I think that the degree to which some of it is pushed is unrealistic for almost everybody. And I think it's more important to just focus on a few key things. So do I think all of these things I just listed have merit? Yes, I do actually. Almost all of them that I listed have merit. There is plenty of evidence to suggest that getting a higher number of steps per day is correlated with greater longevity, decreased mortality, right? There's no question that cardio and weightlifting is beneficial for psychological and physical health. There's no question that adequate sleep is beneficial for health, that having a community and family dinners and all of that are great. And I, like many of you, I'm sure, try to do as much of this as possible. But I also think it is important to be realistic and to be able to enjoy your life. I've talked before about how I took things to such an extreme in my early high school days that I missed out on a lot of social opportunities, which ended up being a net negative. And so if you occasionally have some alcohol or a quote unquote free meal or cheat meal, I think that even though it can potentially acutely have a negative impact physically, may end up actually having more benefits long term for your quality of life and possibly even your quantity of life when you consider the benefits of having that social time with others. If somebody were to come to me and say, hey, you know what, I really do want to improve my health, but I've got 3 kids and I've got a stressful job, I would point them in the direction of some of the evidence suggesting that you do still need to prioritize a few key pillars. There is a study that showed that people who crammed in their sleep on the weekends, but got very little sleep during the week, had negative physical benefits, even though they adapted as far as how they felt, meaning that after several weeks of doing that, they felt like they were fine. But physiologically, they were not fine. They had a higher stress response, they had higher levels of inflammation. And so, even if you are thinking that you are feeling fine with lack of sleep, that's probably not the case. So that would be a big pillar that, while it may be not realistic if you have a lot of young kids and a stressful job, I would say is something that you should focus on. I would say 2 to 3 weight training workouts per week is something that you should be focusing on, and perhaps 1 to 2 cardio sessions on top of that. I think generally moving and being active and taking occasional breaks is good. And I think a social community, people who you can rely on and discuss various ideas with, is great. Beyond that, anything that you can get extra, cold plunges and saunas and all of that, I'd say if you have the time for it, you have the means to do it, then that is great. But I really think that you are getting 90+% of the way there with a few workouts per week, decent sleep, and meaning in your life. Those things are really what's going to be responsible for the vast majority of the progress you see with your health over time. Additionally, there are going to be some supplements that may help out with some of these health factors that do not take time. So fish oil, right? Adequate amounts of DHA and EPA would be recommended, 1 to 2 grams per day of the actual omega-3s, not the fish oil itself, but the actual omega-3s, 1 to 2 grams per day. Curcumin has been shown to help with inflammation depending on the population. Things like magnesium can be helpful, as a lot of people are deficient. Many people are deficient in vitamin D. Personally, I like creatine. It's not something that I feel a difference on, but there's so much data on it that it's beneficial, not just for muscular growth and strength, but also for other benefits as well, such as brain health. So that is one of the ones I would recommend as well. You can go down the rabbit hole and look at many different supplements, but if somebody's just saying, hey, I don't really want to add more time, can I add a few supplements to help? I would say be cautious about thinking that those supplements are going to make up for some of these other areas. They will not even come close to making up for lack of exercise and lack of sleep or terrible nutrition. But if you're at a point where you said, hey, I've done what is realistic for my lifestyle, I've done enough of these key things, or as much as I can do in my current situation, I think you can add these on top of that. Just don't think it's going to be a replacement. So that's it for today, guys. Very short video. I just wanted to discuss this because I do see this on social media all the time. The 4-hour work week, perfect amounts of sleep, cold plunge, sauna, steps, supplements, no stress, so many different things that we're all expected to do. And the reality is, if you are a high achieving individual, even if you're a moderately achieving individual, it's very hard to do all of these every day. If you truly were to break down the amount of time it would take to do all of these, you'd probably be looking at 4 to 5 hours per day, every day, taken up by these things, not counting the 9+ hours of sleep that is recommended. Very difficult to do. I would say don't overstress about it, because that itself will cause more problems. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. Make sure to comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.